Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together we are minting coins. Today is Soulful Sunday, Soulbound Sunday, Spirit Sunday, and we're here talking about Web3, talking about community, and talking about how we are building in the bear market, and at the same time, there are a lot of other people building in the bear market too. Institutional building, corporate building, organizational building, individual building, and we're going to be talking about it. So, starting off with us today, we have unfoldedlife.eth, Ada.eth. Welcome to the show.
Hey everyone, it's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Thanks for showing up. And so welcome to Soulbound Sunday. I'm not sure if we're going to call it Soulbound Sunday or Spirit Sunday or
Soul Sunday.
What? What's that?
I said Soul Sunday.
Soul Sunday?
Yeah, Soul Sunday or Community Sunday. I mean, the guess is really to bring the community together and, discuss of how different people are building community, how different individuals are building in this bear market, and to build bridges and connections because we're always stronger together.
Yeah, we are. Especially individually when, people are working on individual projects and, they still have things going on in their lives. And I mean, for the people that even are building, and at the same time, people are building, there's a lot of other things happening in the world that we're not aware of. Right. And so we get caught up in everyday life. And I think it's really easy to not see what other people are doing, especially since, a lot of their building isn't visible, right? They're not publicizing it. And so we don't really see that building, those press releases. We don't see what's happening on the inside. I mean, sometimes things happen publicly, right? Sometimes we see there's a big buy in the ledger, or sometimes, we do see a press release, or we do see information where, there's a big move being played because they have to announce it. They're at a point where they can announce it, or because they do something that's just public information, right? But until we see it.
Yeah, I mean, I always think of building as a, solitary thing, not solitary necessarily that you're by yourself, because you might be with a team. That team might be small, that team might be huge. But oftentimes, it happens in the background, right? And so you go through these stretches of building, and then you might put out a press release or, anything for people to, for people to have an awareness as to what's happening. But so much goes into creating the infrastructures, right? And creating the code and whatever your process is in that process of building. And so I love sitting together and talking with other people who are building, because that's, I think, what really creates the underpinnings of the community. And I see our guests are just popping in.
What's up, Johnny?
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very nervous. I've never talked to anybody anything like this. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Ada and Gary, thank you for having me. I love talking to you, Ada. You're my favorite person. You make me feel like I'm you're very easy to talk to, so that's really good. I love that.
Well, you guys are rock stars. I always say, because majority of sort of the community building happens on Twitter, and even before Spaces. I mean, I think at least now we have Spaces that creates a certain level of intimacy, but before Spaces, it was just kind of, people behind their PFPs. And so it was really, really hard to even kind of distinguish as to who's who, or who's connected to who, or who might even be a couple in a real world. It took me a while to put two of you guys together and be like, oh, there's another ENS power couple. We got to put this together. So this is super exciting. So welcome, guys.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited. You're talking about Spaces. If I've never done a space before, I don't think I'd be anywhere near comfortable. I'm like you said, the intimacy. you know, we all know each other now just because we've actually like been on speaking terms, not just behind like a keyboard. So yeah, I hope that helps, you know, smooth everything out.
Yes, I agree. I think that if I would have never gone on Spaces, I mean, Gary's had this show since 2017, and we're in 2022 right now. It took a long time. I'm very happy he's a patient man.
Yeah, I'm happy that you know Ada's on the line. I'm happy that you know we could have more people coming together, because for a year and a half it was Ada and I, you know, putting the show together. But it was just me in front of the camera. It's just me in front of the crowd. And you know, don't get me wrong. You know, it's like it's cool to be on stage. It's cool to talk, but it didn't really feel like building. You know, it felt like I was teaching. It felt like I was connecting with people. But you know, building a community is building more than just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so yeah, it is great to get other people a part of the conversation and to share, you know, the thinking and the visioning, and to grow with others.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, we got Gwayman here.
And
6912.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, that's one thing, bro, I hate about the Twitter Blue, and I canceled mine. I can't wait till it's over, actually, but I can't change my name, and I have my old digit in there, and I'm like, please don't send anything to my old digit.
I heard you
Yeah.
actually can change it. I heard you just have to click the save button very quickly and repeatedly. No?
I did it one time. I went from 6939 to 4969, and I was able to do it through there by spamming the save. And then I tried doing it now. I've done it on desktop, I've done it on mobile, and I'm not sure what it is, but I just can't. I can't beat the bot this time. They fixed it or something.
They fixed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a noble effort, and hopefully they get that corrected, because it'd be nice to update things.
But most definitely, I wanted to show you something too, Gary.
Okay. Oh! Here it comes! Wayman.
yes! Woo!
That's very cool, man.
Yeah, I got the hat. I just can't wear it to the front. I don't know why. I can't wear my hats to the front.
He looks like a pedophile.
That's what she tells me. Have you guys seen the show on Netflix? It's called You, and it has like you guys probably haven't watched it. It was popular for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I lost it, but I think I saw the first 2 seasons, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was, and that's just it. I seen that show, and like the dude always wears his hat to the front, and like always he just, you know, he's like a stalker or whatever. And now whenever I have a hat to the front, I don't think it looks bad on other people, but like whenever I do it, I'm like, I feel like I look like him, and I just have to like I gotta throw it to the back.
Yeah, I like very rarely. There's like very few photos of me, and I have all these cool hats. And I like very rarely wear them because that's just like not something that I do. But I'll tell you, it took Gary very long time. I mean, to be honest, I think he maybe started wearing hats last year.
He rocks it though. He looks like a natural.
Yeah, I've never seen him in a hat. So when he first like got one, I was like, I should hate it, but it actually looks really good. And now it's like I rarely see him without a hat. It's more a question of like, do I wear this one or do I wear this one?
Yeah, no. Gary knows how to stunt the hat. It goes good with himself. I think my face is too small or something. I don't know what my problem is. The hat just looks so damn big on me. I gotta put it to the back.
Yeah, somebody. I hope somebody does like a custom where you can actually have the name in the, you know, in that little strip over here.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Put like a custom stuff there.
Yeah, nope. I got my hat though. I secured 2 of them just because I know that there's a supply shock or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, I really wanted to get you guys in the show because for a long time I didn't really know any other couples who were in the Web3, in this sort of ENS space, and were sort of building together. Or actually that isn't completely right, because we would cross paths with a lot of people at conferences, but kind of in our immediate circle or in our immediate kind of Twitter circle, we didn't have. And I've always like, there's just so much complexity, and I know we talked about it on one of the spaces before, of what it's like to be building together. And I'm curious to hear more from you guys about what it's like to be in relationship, what it's like to be in a Web3 space together, whether it's something that brings you closer together, sort of what are the challenges, like the whole thing. Like,
does it drive you
candidly.
apart because you guys are fighting over which PHP project or which ENS? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I raid Gary's wallet all the time, and I'm like, oh, I won this and this and this.
You're like, this is mine now. I'm so sorry, but
Yeah, that's actually what happened the other day, right? I had 1 4-digit, and then somebody was like, "Hey, I got the 4-digit that matches your girl's PFP, the one that you guys see right there," and I was like, "Man, that's kind of cool." And they were like, "I'll trade you for your 6 9-digit, and then I'll even give you like this ENS Maxi or whatever." And I thought it'd be a nice little gift. They were trying to get her PFP, but she's kind of attached to that one, so
Yeah.
I didn't want her to lose that, and then them give me like they were like, I either want like your PFP to go with my digit, or I want you to take this digit. And I ended up making it work. So then I got the digit that matches her PFP. So I'm left with 1 4-digit that matches her PFP. And she's like, that's my digit now. And I'm like, so
Well,
I have
I
1
mean,
4-digit.
it's like I never get anything to myself because like I'll get something. He's like, all right, well, this is actually mine, so we're gonna sell it. And I'm like, okay, slow your roll there.
Nope.
I know it's your money, but it's our money.
Yeah, so what you guys are hearing right now is one of the things that come into play with the couple stuff, right? And we won't get too personal into our like our real life and like our money situations and stuff like that. But as far as the NFT goes, some people call me, they call me paper hands or paper guay, and it's because people get so mad when I sell things. I actually have people I've had to unfollow people and even consider blocking them because I've received DMs about people asking me what I'm doing with my wallet with like projects they're not even involved in. It kind of creeps me out. I don't know why people have like this fascination with watching what I'm doing or being concerned with my funds, but like I can take the jokes, but sometimes when it gets excessive or like I'm doing something that doesn't even involve a project they're in, I'm like, dude, what are you doing with yourself? like get out of my wallet. So, and I don't want to have to hide everything, but it's starting to get to that point where I think I do have to. Well, so we buy things together. That's the thing when you get into a couple. Hey, babe, I think your mic's unmuted. I hear something going on.
Oh, I don't think.
I got you. But so they got if I buy something, I gotta buy her something too, and that's understandable. When it's cheap, that's cool. Once it gets a little bit pricier, like a 4-digit, where it's like a lot of my funds, and just having one was like my goal for a minute, and then I get one that matches hers, and I'm like, well, shit. Now it's kind of like hers, I guess, and I'm okay with that because we won't sell it. We can hold that. It gives me an excuse to hold it. But now I got to get myself one, and then I can't lie when it comes to these NFTs. Some people call me a paper hands. I'm a profit taker. That's something that I have to do with some of these things. If I don't believe in it, or if I'm just kind of winging it, if I can double my money, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to turn my little bit of ETH into a little more and put it into something I believe in. Like I don't mind holding a few things for 10 years if that's what it's going to come to because I have faith in it. These other things I'm kind of iffy on. I'll be in and out. Like I'll flip them. I'm not buying 20 of these things to hold them for 10 years. I'll be honest. I'm gonna flip 15 of them and maybe
And I
hold
will
5.
definitely do that. I
And
don't have a problem.
she's the opposite.
Collector. Yeah.
And she's made profits before, and then every time she makes profits, which it's hard to keep ETH in your wallet, you gotta admit. But she'll make profits and then buy some more of this thing, and then like after a little bit, it's like, well, I don't have any ETH. And I'm like, it's because you bought that thing. And then she's like, well, you sell everything of yours. I'm like, because I need ETH. like this ETH doesn't come out of nowhere, and I can't keep depositing ETH. So I gotta take what I have if I'm up on it, or even if I'm down. Sometimes I'll cut losses, or I'll sell what I have to if I see a better move to make, and I'll do so, and I'll give it to her. She's a freaking diamond hander to where it's like, it's good, but it's bad. It's good because it's so far the things that she's gone heavy on with like the funds that she had, it's worked out for her. But then I also I was in the NFTs just a little bit longer than her, and I've been here, and
He's
I've
got
been
a lot of rugs in his wallet.
I've been rugged plenty.
Oh, yeah.
I bought some at 0.01 and it go to 0.15 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hold it to 1 ETH, and then I never see that 0.15 again, to where now I can't even sell the items. And I'm like, all right, we have a little bit of ETH, we gotta make good moves while we can. So like if I can sell 10 of these things real quick and go grab a 4-digit, something I see a future in, I'll do so. And so yeah, that's one of the things with the profits is I look at myself as a profit taker, or even like I'm an NFT flipper. I collect a few, but I flip most of them. Like we started this journey with very, very little ETH, and I have so many ENS names. And that's one thing she tells me. She's like, well, you're the one with 500 ENS names. I'm like, yes, but watch when they sell. I got contacted just yesterday. I sold a name for quarter ETH, and it's like a name that anyone would see in my wallet and be like, what the hell is that? Like they didn't do the research behind it, but I did. And then one day the person that wanted it messaged me, hey, can I buy this for quarter ETH? And I didn't even like negotiate it. I'm like, I got 500 names, I don't care about this name, I bought it kind of to sell it to you. So I said, yeah, what do you want to give me? They said 0.25. I said, let's do it. So I do have a lot of liquid things, but I have faith in these things. Like there's my reason for having them in my wallet isn't just a flip. I know when I get into something it's a flip. I know when I get into something it's more of a long-term hold. She doesn't do many flippings, and that's okay, because like the thing is, she's a diamond hander. She's up on a few projects that, like, if I would have held all 30 of mine, then I'd be, I'd look a lot better than selling them early. But like I said, when I need ETH, I got to get it one way or another, and we're limited. So pretty much my funds of being an NFT flipper, working my way up, are kind of cut in half, and half of them go to her, which I know won't be flips. They'll be buy and holds, which could be good, and it could be bad, especially in certain markets and certain collections. It's like, if you're up, take your profits and either save it or do something like really strong with it. And now my ammunition's kind of cut in half, which isn't a bad thing, because she's involved and she makes good moves. I can't say she doesn't. Just so far, she's hit a lot. So she still holds. So I'm proud of her. She's got something I don't. And then me, I'm just still like, I think it's my paranoia and my skepticalness of certain plays. I'm like, look, I don't know about this. We don't need 20. Let's keep 5. Let's keep 5. If they do good, we'll be good. Imagine having 5 Bored Apes, which, not that I don't think anything will pull a Bored Ape, even though that's what everybody wants to say, but you never know.
Yeah, it's interesting because they set come on, Brian. They set a certain ceiling, and so now any project that's out there kind of immediately compares themselves to apes or punks. And I always say, being first isn't always the greatest. And people often think, oh, the punks were the first. Actually, they weren't. Neither the punks or the apes. They were one of the earlier projects. But I think that they already had the data that NFTs are kind of like the next big thing. Like if you were paying attention, you already saw the indications of things being there. And so I always say, the people who are first to the market, they kind of like work out the kinks. And so it might be great that you're first because you get the press, but sometimes that isn't enough, because the people who come behind you, they're like, oh, like this and this and this and this didn't work for you. So they'll do it better, and they'll scale quicker, and they'll grow faster. And so I used to be like, you have to get first to the market. And now, just doing research on even a lot of Web2 companies, is none of the companies that we really see right now, I think maybe aside from Amazon, I think Amazon might have been like the first in doing what they did. They weren't necessarily the first, like Google wasn't the first, and Facebook wasn't the first. Like they had the path kind of before them paved by some of the earlier companies that, for whatever reasons, had failed. But it's going back to what you were saying, I think it's really, really interesting to kind of what you're saying, because I'm sort of similar. Like, I'm a holder, and I do get attached to projects. Like, I just love them sometimes. So the whole concept of letting go something that I've loved, whether it's going up or down or sideways or never, I'm never gonna make my money back. I'm still but I really love the art, and so I get super attached. But I just recently, for the very first time, listed some things in my wallet for sale. I just was my wallet is going to be things are just gonna stay there. I'm not gonna touch it. And it's like it's nice because I feel like I don't necessarily have to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. Being a holder and a collector, it's definitely not a bad thing. And I haven't been here long enough to like, like Gary's got some nads of steel to hold a board eight buy it at point 0.4 and see it at 10 ETH and not go, damn, should I sell this thing? Like he said, I'm just gonna hold it. Like there's certain people built like that, and
Yeah.
I'm just like there's certain ones I could see myself doing that with, but there's a lot that just again, I think, and I don't know anybody's circumstances or financial situations, so I'm just speaking for myself. But like I'm really not in like a financial situation yet to where I could like look at say $10,000 sitting in my wallet and be like, no, I'll just leave it there. Like I'm still such like a little fish. Like I'm like, holy crap, I could like pay this off. I could like fix this. I could like I could put this in the bank and take care of this, and not have to stress about that. And then I can still have my NFTs I like. For a minute, I was a little bit over leveraged. I came into NFTs with not a lot of ETH and not a lot of savings IRL. I hit a few wins. I bought a few things I liked, and I've pulled money out because I'm actually treating this thing like I've actually made real life profits, things that I can use in real life. And again, not to go too far in our situation, but we have a little one. She's asleep right now, and Drowning is a stay at home mom, which is totally understandable. Like, so she stays home, and I'm the one that's got to go to work, 6 days a week and going. I told Gary my job, and I'll be busting my damn balls at work, which I'm not complaining about because it's just what people gotta do. But I'm still trying to process. Like, there's certain like collections and things that I see, and I'm like, no, this is gonna be serious. Like ENS, like there's certain ENS I will hodl. Like there's other ones I'll flip. If I sold it to Ron, and Ron I think will be a solid person to hold it. But I sold Ron Fergie, and I told you when I picked it up cheap. And I sold it to him for like double in like a week. And then I pulled the money out and I put it in the bank and I did a few real life things with it. And to me, like ENS, I still believe in long term. That one, I'm like, okay, if Fergie doesn't get it, it's gonna be another speculator. And then Ron wanted it, and Ron was like, yeah, I think Ron is here to like grow the space and stuff. To where if he has some type of connection that could get that job done, I'd rather go to him than just like another random squatter that pulled the trigger. So I had a private agreement with him already. But there are ENS that I will hold for long term because I see like the vision, I see the point in it. A lot of these like PFPs, like I'm a fan of art, but 2 years ago you asked me to buy a picture for $100. I'm gonna tell you like screw that, I'll screenshot it. and then it's at the point to where I'm like, if I want to be part of this community, if I want to be involved, if I want to get the benefits, you only need one. So if I can at least hold one and be part of this community, then I did my part. I got my entry point. I'm in there. Once I buy too many of something or I have a few of them, I get to thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, am I in too deep? did I over leverage or if I am in and then it goes up, I'm like, all right, it's time to take the risk off the table. So I'll take the risk off the table and then I'll hold a few. So that's one thing when it comes to the finances, but it's cool because we're talking about the couples in the Web3 here. It is nice to have her. We kind of it's like a salt and pepper here, and her being the pepper to where she can hold things, and it's like, hey, if these things go to 10 ETH, it's because you held it. I sold it way too early, and then me to where it's like, okay, if it goes to 0, I pulled enough off the table that we both got to play this free, like we didn't lose it. So it's like she's like my better half of the hodl, and I'm like she's on this shoulder, like just hold it, and then I'm on this side, like take your profit.
It does. I think it does create a really, really good balance. Drowning, I have a question for you because I know our story is similar. Is that our beloved got into the space first and got like crazy excited. I don't know how it was for you, but for me it was like sleepless nights when ENS first launched in 2017. I swear, like I don't think I saw Gary for like 5 days. He was like locked up in his office, and there were like few other projects along the way that that had that effect.
It was a 24/7 job for like 30 days plus.
Yeah. It was super intense and super stressful.
Like
And
you had
that
to be up at all. You had to be up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. It was just like every day. It was like a different schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, not sleep. And that was, so that was the time where I was in the space in regards, like I knew about Bitcoin, I knew about cryptocurrencies, I understood the blockchain, but that's kind of pretty much it. And so I didn't really get into the NFT or the, sort of space, so to say, community type spaces until much, much later. And I think it was similar for you. So Drowning, I have a question for you as to, what was it like? And at what point did you make a decision to be like, okay, I want to explore this and I want to see what it's about?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, Gwayman loves to be on his phone, especially now that there's this big community that we're a part of. I mean, I kind of still yell at him, but it's a lot less now just because like I get it. But the whole so I think we joined a crypto Twitter maybe like December, January. At least I did. But he would just watch. He used to be like really big into like stocks and like watching like YouTube all day, just like listening to like we call him. I guess he's Uncle Answers is what they call him. But he used to be so into that, and I would just like I would hear it all day, every day, and I would just like kind of shut it out because it was so annoying to me. I'm like, what is this guy even talking about? It makes absolutely no sense. And then he joined Twitter, and he was making these connections, and they seem pretty solid. So I'm not exactly sure like what happened, like what made me like join, but I think he just probably said something, and I was just like, okay, like I'll give it a try. So I think it was just more of like I seen like the connections he was making and like the family that he like was being created. And I was like, okay, maybe I want to be a part of this, so I will give it a try. I created my Twitter in January, but like I wasn't really active on it just because I wasn't really a part of anything yet. But yeah, I don't think I really was on until after I had my baby. Like I would like kind of like dabble here and there, but like nothing made sense to me until like I was actually able to be home, and kind of dig deeper into it. But yeah, so at first it was really obnoxious to me, I won't lie. But now I'm on my phone all the time too, so I do get it. I try not to be, but yeah, I hope that answers a little bit.
Yeah, I just want to jump in a little bit too. So when Drowning was pregnant, she was still working a job. She worked a server job. So, we both were working even when she was pregnant up until the point where she couldn't work. And again, our financial situation, we both just had to do that. She couldn't take the time off yet. We're young and we're just still trying to like literally get our savings together, our life together. So that's why even buying these magical names with this magical
older than
coin.
you, and I'm still trying to get my life together.
Yeah, see, and that's just it. That's why when I say it, I don't say it in like a way. It's like oh, poor us. It's just life, and especially when you're young, and even older. It's just how it goes. So that's what we were having a kid. Pretty young, and just not having the most savings and stuff. Like she said, I got into the stocks, and once I got into this, I dumped all my stocks. I like hold no stocks. I only had so much capital to play with, which was around like less than $2,000, and I put it into ETH. And then after I put it into ETH, I found out about NFTs, and I said I'll spend a little bit of my ETH, but I was trying to hodl it. And then I came here and I seen people making flips, and I didn't understand it at first, but I started to pick it up. I started to find out how people are making money off these things. I kind of thought it was like a complete scam until I bought one of these pictures and I listed it for hire, and then I got an email saying, hey, your item sold. I said, holy shit, I finally did it. Like I sold something for profits. So what with her, me getting deeper into this thing and her working a job and knowing that that's going to come to an end, and I'm going to have to be working even more, like longer days and more days a week. Some days I work 7 days a week. Usually it's 6 days. And I was like, okay, so you're going to be home with the baby. You're on your phone just like for fun anyway, whether it's like TikTok or Facebook, and not that it's like all day long, but everybody's on their phone. Like face it, we all have a phone. It's a way to pass time. I was like, what if, and she's smart. She just is unfamiliar with the field at the time. And I was like, what if I could teach her like or at least get her hip, and maybe she picks up things I don't. Like imagine, I remember people were minting things for like 0.05 and then flipping it for an ETH like 2 days later. And not that that happens much anymore. We were in a bull market though, and anything was selling. I was like, what if I just get her involved? What if I'm at work and I don't see it and she sees it and she starts learning how to like find what's gonna go, and she can hit some flips. And it was a way for taking her from the non-working world and not getting any income. Maybe you flip NFTs for a profit. So some people do it enough to where they flip in, they put in the bank, and
His plan failed.
no, we hit a couple. We hit a couple. There was a couple nice ones that she scored on a few. It's kind of just like total, the derivative yacht clubs and all these random things. There's a few that we scored on, but to take a couple dollars and then flipping it for a couple $100 in like a week, like it's unheard of. So then I was like, if we could learn to just play around here, then maybe she can make some income. She's made a bit of money. I remember when she sold her first ENS name too, like a couple $100 from these names that I was going crazy on, and she like didn't understand, and then she sold one, and it was like, let's go, like now you see it. So I kind of I was slowly trying to wean her into it, and then also, as she said, I was on my phone and I was into it so much, and you kind of hit that
I
point.
had no idea where all our money was going. I was like, what the heck? Like, what is happening? But I do wish that I was into it sooner, because when I actually like had a lot of money to play around with, I could have bought so much more.
Yeah, that's just it. Like I said, there was points where I was a little bit too deep to where if I have a chance for profits, I'd take it out. I'd put it in the bank, and I'd like be like, all right, we're safe. I didn't fuck us. but like that's my fault, and that's a discipline thing I'm trying to work on. And it's been like forever since I've deposited ETH, because I've made enough moves to where I've had ETH profited from whether it's names or projects and stuff. But these profits and these withdrawals would never come if I don't sell things. So that's just where like it's so hard for me to be like the collector. There's a few that I kind of tuck away on a separate ledger, and I'm like, I'll leave these. And then other ones, if you catch it in my hot wallet, just know like it's probably going. Like it's in there for a reason. And yeah, so it was cool bringing her in. And then it hit that point where I knew it was a little obnoxious, and especially when your partner doesn't understand what you're doing. Most people, and she doesn't go through my phone. It's never was weird. Like, who you texting? Like, are you talking to a girl? It was nothing like that. It was just like, what the hell are you doing? And I like try to break it down, and then she kind of like, it's too much. Like, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know, because like it was just I'm like, I get excited about this shit. I started talking about ENS. I started talking about NFTs. I started talking about these damn monkeys selling for a bunch of fucking money, and she was like, it's too much for me. So I slowly, it hit a point where I was like, I know I'm annoying you. I know it feels like we're almost distancing, because I'm like always trying to find that next thing. I'm like trying to like grow my Twitter following. I'm trying to find what names are good, what's unregistered, like all this stuff, like while still working my full-time job. So I get home and then I know life this. Excuse me. And then I just knew it kind of hit a point. I was like, all right, we're either not going to talk, because I'm going to keep going to my little room, and then, we eat dinner together and I'm back to my room, or you can kind of see what I'm up to, and then I can kind of explain this to you. And so slowly she came in, slowly she got involved, and now she got legs.
now you
she's
can't get rid of me.
now I can't buy something without buying her one.
Yeah, no, now she's a rock star.
Now I have to eat.
I always say, and I've had my Twitter since I think like 2012 or 2013. Not that I've ever used it. It was not really, and I've never been a huge social media person in both kind of posting a lot or even consuming a lot of social media. But it was there. It's great if you're having a shitty day and you just need a distraction. Like, it's perfect to just be like, I just want to zoom out. But what I've noticed is now, because there are these communities, I go less into the mindless social media where I don't know anybody. And it's just, I often feel like at the end of it, I'll either get some great recipes, because that's like usually what I go for, or it makes me feel worse than when I started. Because like social media just has that where it's like, after like half an hour of scrolling, you're like, I actually don't feel better. I actually feel worse than
sorry. Social media is very draining.
It is.
Especially like my generation. We are. I mean, not that you guys are on it too. But our generation is surrounded by social media. So I feel like that's why a lot of our generation has a lot of like mental health problems also, because you can't even go on Instagram without seeing, like, say for instance, oh, this girl's prettier than me, or like, I wish this was my lifestyle. So like I feel like when you're um this is a big reason why I don't get on Instagram, because of like a lot of these reasons. So, I'm very thankful to be on like crypto Twitter where, everyone is anon, and we all, for who even knows, like we could all have the same life. So I really like that aspect, but also like it is very draining, especially staring at your phone all day. It for some reason when you don't do anything, you're more tired. um, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really is an intense dilemma, and I say it to our kids all the time because I know Gary and I were blessed enough. I'm really grateful for it every day to have grown up still in the age where if you wanted to see your friends, you had to go and hang out with your friends outside. Like when I grew up in Poland, like we didn't even have a landline. And so there was like no way that I could even go and try to call my friends. Like we would make plans at school and then we would go and meet up after school and we would ride bikes or take buses all over the city. And there was that kind of sense of like freedom and connection. And it's interesting because we have a total of 5 kids, and the ages range, but each one of them have grown up in the era of social media, not just in the era of cell phones, but just in the era of social media, and really kind of like looking at what are the implications. And I'm so happy. So I look at Web3 technology as it's I feel like we're reaching the next evolution. And hopefully, I don't know, but culturally, my hope is that it will provide us a pathway toward having more connection. Because I don't necessarily think, well, I think that we are going toward the metaverse. Like I think that whether we want to admit it or not, the world is going toward, augmented reality, and we are going to be spending more and more time in these environments that are, although incredible and beautiful and fantasy like, ultimately aren't real. And but in the same time, I'm an optimist, and I like to think that those technologies will also allow us to connect. Because I mean, what, my first pathway toward like, oh, there's this entire community, was when Gary and I went to our first conference. And I don't know if it was like one of the NFT NYCs, or I think that might have been like one of the first ones. And I was like, and that was like in a craze. I mean, that was just like when Bored Apes were like selling for like 7 figures. I mean, it was just that kind of craziness. And but more so than that, right? So it has all that energy, but more so than that, I got to meet a lot of people that had come, didn't come from a lot of money or resources, and were able to create wealth for themselves, or generational wealth for themselves and their families, and find a pathway to create a better, way better life, work for themselves, use the talents and gifts that they had to create something in a short amount of time. Wasn't like grinding for 30 or 40 years to have a retirement fund. And that to me, being a mother and having a family like that, and having not come from money, that to me was amazing. Like I was like, so yes, there's all this buzz about selling all these PFPs and flipping, but underneath that, I thought there is a pathway for people to create that kind of wealth and security for themselves and their families. And I was like, this is amazing. With not like tremendous amount of skill. Like, yes, you have to put in your time, and I think for a lot of people, the onboarding piece is little difficult because there isn't a one-stop place where you can learn everything. And so Gary had a very similar, I think, um, introduction to Web3 that you had, Guayman, where he just watched a few videos and then it was like down the rabbit hole for like months. Like it was like, I'm gonna learn everything.
After I heard about it, like I first heard about crypto in whatever it was, 2013, 2014, and then I mean, like I kind of like I helped with articles and digital marketing and talking about it, and didn't really fully understand it. I mean, it's just what it comes down to. And yeah, I mean, we even bought Dogecoin, just because like that's what people did. They bought Dogecoin and they tipped each other on Twitter. And that was 2013, and then completely ignored it until 2016, and then just like fell off a cliff. Just, yeah, crazy down the rabbit hole, just sleepless nights, up all night, just reading and watching videos and experimenting. I mean, spent a lot of money learning is how I like to think about it, is my MBA. I spent good money on my MBA in Web3, and a lot of Andreas Antonopoulos, a lot of cypherpunk stuff, a lot of hardcore stuff, and going down that rabbit hole and just really wanting to share that rabbit hole with other people too much, and working with Ada in Web 2, and then wanting to share that with her in Web 3. Yeah, I was up a lot, and
I love that.
And this was like me, and Ada was probably sleeping like just fine.
I was like, whatever he's doing,
Hey,
trust him.
for the record, I digit. It's cool because people, you digit. But it's also I dig it. Yeah, not bad.
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
No, that's funny. No, I'm with you, man. And I'm with you with the you learn and then you want to share because you kind of feel like you got this it's like a hack to life. Is this way? Once I learned like the crypto shit, I was like, oh man, and like you want to tell your loved ones because that whole wag me. You're like, all right, look, we're gonna have this advantage that other people aren't gonna have. Like, we got to get on this before like it's too late, And I shared with a few people. Some of my friends got involved. Some of them thought I was crazy. I got one buddy that bought one ETH when I told him to. I didn't give him financial advice, but I gave him financial advice. And he bought it at like $400 or $500, and like it ran to 4K. And like he didn't sell a penny. He still has it. He's just been holding it. And then he even bought some Matic at like 20 cents or something. Whenever I told him about like 2 or 3 things I liked, and he held it better than I did. I started playing with my ETH, but that little bit of play has made me more ETH. I remember thinking like 1 ETH, we were like, bro, we're good. We're like, we both got an ETH, let's go. Like it was a Bitcoin or something. And even one coin, that'd be fucking solid. And then I took mine and started doing crazy stuff with it, and I've made that little one like over 30 times by now, 20 times. Which is crazy to think because I don't know where it all went, but yeah, man, wanted to share with people. And I remember I bought had this damn book. I met her uncle for the first time like 2 years ago for Christmas, and then I handed him. I think it was this book. No, it was this book. Gave him this little book about the Bitcoin rabbit hole because he didn't know anything about it. He was older than me, and it was like my first time meeting him. And you know what I had to talk about? Crypto. And she was like, you just met him, you can't be. I said, it's almost Christmas. I gave him a present, so I gave him a damn Bitcoin book about going down the rabbit hole. And then afterwards I was like, yeah, probably shouldn't have did that. First interaction, and he's gonna leave here like, yep, he's a nut.
Well, he did mention that like he was interested in crypto. He just didn't really understand it. So that's kind of where that conversation led to. And I'm hoping he didn't get down the rabbit hole because he probably has no money.
Yeah, this is when Bitcoin was like, 40K or something and still running. So then it ran up more, and I'm like, oh, I hope he got in. And now I'm like, oh, hope he didn't get in. But no, I'm with you, man. I just couldn't hold it in. I was telling friends about it. She had to hear about it. That's the other good thing about having her in the space, though. In these communities and just in Twitter in general, there's a few things that go on. There's been a few things that I've got to witness that are like, some things are just crazy. Like, holy crap, did you see he bought this for this and sold it for that? Like, oh my. And then there's other ones where, I've seen fake sales. I've been present when I've seen people kind of make a plan on what they're gonna make a club of, or like how they're gonna get something going, and I'm just seeing this stuff go on, and I'm like, this feels slimy. And then like I've been able to, like, I've spoken out on it in times, and I've even had, there was a time on Twitter where I swiped my whole timeline clean because I was like kind of going off for like a week, like just I was tired of some shit, and I was like, that's some slimy stuff, and I was like kind of exposing some shit. And then I was just like, man, this is gonna kind of ruin my whole thing. Like, even if I disagree with it, sometimes you can't control everything. And that's why, she showed me the play Hamilton in my favorite song. One thing he says, I am the one thing in life I can't control. And I was like, all I can do is control myself, and I need to control myself here. I can't control all that other shit. So I ended up swiping my timeline clean and trying to get like a fresh little start. But even now, like, I see a few things go on, and I'm no idiot. I just play a fly on the wall, and I like to watch it go down. And I made a tweet about it today. I said sometimes I feel like I'm watching like a social experiment, like in just in motion, like in real time. So I have some things. I have my own theories. I have my own thoughts, my own feelings, and I can't express all that on Twitter because sometimes it just looks like lashing out, and it's not the best thing to do. So now I have like my crazy partner I can talk to about these crazy things that really don't matter, but matter to me. So I can kind of like it keeps me from losing it up here because I can still vent to her.
It's so funny that you say that because it's very, very similar. Like, and Gary doesn't hold back, and that's why I love him, because I think there are definitely the times that there's a time and place for politics, and you have to understand when those times are. But then if you only prioritize politics, then somewhere along the way you are going to lose your own values. And I 100% with you. Like, I remember when the 3-digit craze was happening, and I caught something on Twitter, and I went to Gary and I'm like, hey, what the hell is going on with this? Like, this is so weird, because we both come from a .com, and so we got into the ENS very, very early. But I mean, there was like the 3-digit, the 4-digit, like none of that really existed. And I still, to this day, like I hold domains that I'm like, I want to build on this, or somebody who really wants to build something will want this. Like I always like look at a domain name and I'm like, okay, what's the potential? Because it's like what you were saying, like sometimes things are meaningless to you, but you can understand, like looking at what people were building, you're like, yeah, this is like somebody's going to build an amazing project on this. And I always say, like, I would love to build projects on all of my domains, like probably don't have enough lifetime or lifetimes to do it. But I always would love to see other people. Like if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, this is like the project that I want to build, I'm like, let's go. Like it because it's so much more exciting to me. And it also, it creates longevity of the space. And having been, this is our second, or this is my second, I think for Gary, it's like third bear market. I feel that it like flashes everybody out who wasn't really here for Web3. Like he wasn't really here to build, like what, you know, said, like there are people that like said the right things and were like, yay, down with, you know, community decentralization and this and that. But really we're here to make money. And I think that it's really important to say, yes, like we are here to make money. Like I think the times where it's like when people are like, oh no, like I don't want to make money, I'm just here for community, like I don't think so. And if you are, then there's something in your life that's blocking you from making money, and those are the people that are going to burn out, because you are always going to be working another job, and you're always going to be doing this sort of just part-time, and eventually like the projects are going to come and go, and you're just going to like jump in and be like, yeah, I'll do this for free and this for free and this for free. The companies are going to grow and you're still going to be in your job. So I think you know, having like a really clear vision, like for us it was, you know, we've worked together in Web2 and we consciously are making a decision to transition. Like we're like, we want to be like 100% in Web3. This is where the future is. And you know, and it fills all the boxes, because for me it can't just be financial. Like it's really great to just make a lot of money, but then it's like that's not the place where you build community, right? If you're trading stocks, like you're not making friends, right, with those companies or with people who are trading stocks. Like you're there, it's very clearly defined, like this is my job, I'm there, these are numbers, right? The stock market opens, the stock market closes, and these are the graphs, and you know, however you figure this out. But I think that if you are in a place and you're actually building community and you're building relationships and you're actually building companies in the future and projects, then it becomes more than just like, yes, we're just here for the money. But if you look at percentage wise, like I remember Gary Vee had said it at, I think, NFT NYC probably 2 years ago. And that's when like everybody was like, yay, NFTs. And he said, there's only going to be like, he called it, he said, most of you in this room, like 99% of you in this room are only here to make money. And people are like, no, bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, he's spot on. And he said, and only 1% of those projects are actually going to build into the future. And I was like, 100% he's into something, you know. And I've been following him for a very long time, also being a marketer myself, to really be able to like look at something and understand its potential and meet the people that are in the space and kind of like hear the buzzwords and be like, everybody's just using buzzwords. But then there's this small kind of subset of people. And I remember having this conversation with Gary, and I'm like, in a bear market, we're going to see what emerges, because those are going to be the builders. And I think that's going to be underpinnings of what Web3 will ultimately become, because we don't really know yet. Like we know it's there's no way that it will completely fail. Like I know that, and I think we can all agree. But as to like where it's going to be in 20 years, I mean, I think it's going to be amazing.
No, the worst part is knowing that all this cool shit was going to get built in the bear market. Yeah. And just knowing that you have to wait for the bear market to come. Right? Yeah. Just knowing that it's like, you know, at first in crypto, you're living in the moment. You think you're living in the future, but you're actually living in the past. Right? Because whatever you see in the chart and then you're reacting to the chart, it's like it's kind of too late, right? Because it's like you're when you look at something in real time, it's then the past. And so people's always trying to guess what's going to come next. And it's really hard to guess what's going to come next. And so like you got to wait till it happens and then it's in the past. But if you know the research, right? If you know the past behaviors, if you know what the cycles are, then it's kind of like physics. You know, it's like, you know what's going to happen, but you don't know when it's going to happen. You know the market goes up. You know the market goes down. You know some companies fail. You know most companies fail. But you know technology never dies. Things only change. And, you know, things have to get really hard for good things to happen, unfortunately. Because in the bull markets, it's just too easy to scam. And we're not talking crypto, like stock market, normal market, before digital ever existed market. You know, it's like money gets good and the good gets going. You know, the good times get going, and then things get hard, and then some people, you know, like go away, and then other people innovate. Other people start getting their shit together. They start getting organized, and we know, you know, the top 30 most valuable, or at least the top 30 of the top 31 most valuable companies in the world were all created in a bear market or in a recession. And now is, you know, we are at these really difficult times, and it's like we still don't know like which are these companies that are really going to succeed. Personally, I'm very bullish on, you know, like ENS Vision, and you know, I'm bullish on a lot of things, right? And I don't know what's going to be the winner, right? I really like Manifold for creating NFTs, Manifold.xyz, and I really like, you know, ENS Vision. And there's so many great builders and developers putting together so many cool things. But you know, you have to be sort of near the train, because it's like, you know, the train is going to leave the station, right? And you know you're going to hear the train whistle. And when you hear the train whistle, that means the train is leaving the station. And so this is so now, like when we're a little bit into the future, we're playing near the train station. We're playing near the tracks. Some people get hit by the trains. But when the train leaves the station, we already built a platform. We already built a community, right? It's like we are right here, you know, as opposed to not being a part of what's going on and just listening to the news or just listening on Twitter from afar. And other people, what happens is that, you know, at some point the bull market comes, right? The bottom comes in, the bull, and then people see it, and then all those people come in late, and it's going to happen again, right? Like when the market comes back, people are going to wait until, I mean, think about what happens when Bitcoin hits like 50,000. You know, or when Bitcoin hits 65,000, when Bitcoin breaks 66,000, and then it dips and then it shoots way up. You know what I mean? It does some sort of like cup and handle like formation, and it does the prophetic, you know, 100K number, and then does a 30% pullback. You know what I mean? And then people are going to go crazy, and then it hits 100. I mean, it sounds crazy to think about those numbers. But actually, if I can share a little bit of news with you guys, this is just coming out today. News report: Harvard researchers telling central banks to start buying Bitcoin. So there's a Harvard economic researcher. This is reported by Political, recommending that central banks around the world start buying Bitcoin. And so this guy, Matthew Ferranti, is a fifth-year PhD candidate at Harvard's economic department, published his paper arguing that central banks should start buying up Bitcoin. The paper is overseen by Ferranti's Harvard advisor and excuse me here, former IMF economist Ken Rogoff, wink wink, claims that central banks would benefit from holding a small amount of Bitcoin. You don't say. Guys, there's not a lot of Bitcoin in the world. A small amount of Bitcoin equals a lot of Bitcoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. There's 43 million millionaires in the world. There's people who are not millionaires. They already own Bitcoin. And for a bank to have just a little bit of Bitcoin, there's not a lot of Bitcoin. If every single country wanted to buy, you know, a little bit of Bitcoin, that's going to shoot the price of Bitcoin to over $100,000. And just his reasonings are just crazy because, I'm sorry about these ads. He's saying that countries that are facing sanctions, which is like every country in the world sometimes, or potential, right? Even if countries that have the potential for economic sanctions. And let me tell you a funny thing about that is that I don't want to get super deep into the history lesson of financial companies and whatnot, but you guys probably heard of Swift. And Swift is this big global money network for settling money, right? It's basically a Bitcoin competitor. And Swift is has people from all over Europe on it, like some Germans. And the America was going to sanction, this is unbelievable. America was going to sanction these Germans citizens if they didn't follow through with having Swift through these sanctions on Russia and Iran. This was kind of like way back when. So even our allies can be sanctioned by the United States. And so, yeah, they're just saying that countries should hold a little bit of Bitcoin, and countries would benefit from holding crypto in addition to gold. But countries at risk for sanctions tend to have poor infrastructure, and sometimes it could be really hard to obtain enough gold. And so, it's just crazy to see Harvard pushing, for central banks to purchase Bitcoin. So it just goes into the say with, this sort of level of growth and building that's happening at all levels. What's happening in Web3. It's like, think about it. It's like we're about to go through a recession. We're like, things are about to get really, really hard. And the banks at this moment are being told, like the central banks are being told, that they should load up on Bitcoin, or at least just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think like you said, what, 43 million millionaires, 21 million Bitcoin. Yeah, so you don't need to be a genius to do that math. That's one thing that I do plan to do. I was kind of more heavy on ETH, and if I can, that's just it. I like NFTs, and I like certain things like that. And that's one thing where, when it comes to the profits, it's like, if I could do this right, though, and let me backpedal to what Ada said about people here for money. That's 100%. I didn't when I heard about the NFTs, and I had my little bit of ETH, and I was like scared to buy something with it. It wasn't because I said, "Oh my goodness, these guys look fun on Twitter." It was, I want to sell this thing for double what I bought it for. And now that I've been here and I've got some experience, though, I've made connections. I see the strength in this, and that's why I do have NFTs that I won't sell. And I do, maybe I'll buy 5 and you sell 4 of them, things like that. Like I said, you only need one to be a part of that community. You don't need to be a whale in the damn, to be part of that community and to have those connections. So that's why I try to keep one, but I definitely de-leverage, because I'm thinking 20 years from now, if I could make enough of these smart moves and buy myself a Bitcoin and hold a Bitcoin, where will that put me in 20 years? What will that do for my children in 20 years? If it takes more, it takes more. It could take a lot less than 20 years, though. Like, this stuff moves fast, and it's no joke. So when it comes to NFT communities, I have faith in them. Some of them, definitely not all, because like Gary Vee said, a lot of these things will fail. But what got me here was crypto. My faith in crypto is why I went so crazy. And then the NFTs were just, I looked at NFTs, and I'm being completely honest, is a way to turn my 1 ETH into 2 ETH, that 2 ETH into 4 ETH, that 4 ETH into 10, that 8 into a Bitcoin, like stuff like that. It's a way to, if you can play your role and do, take advantage of the time that you're in, then you can better your situation. And now there's definitely NFTs I won't sell. Again, I've seen the strength of communities, and I love it. I'm addicted to this stuff. I can go without catching a sale, and I'm still on Twitter every day, because it's past the point of just the money. Yeah, did I come for the money? Yes. I stayed because I see the opportunities of this whole thing, and I don't want to miss it. Like Gary said, I want to stay near the train. So when that horn goes, I can hear it. A couple of years ago, I had no clue where the train station was. Now I'm playing on the tracks, just waiting for that train to come. So, Bitcoin, I think it's no joke. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the things that I was like, all right, this. And then anytime somebody tried to tell me about some other stuff, I said, I don't even care. I'm not in a situation to have this. I know what I see the vision in, and I know what I want to get my hands on. And that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I have nowhere near enough Bitcoin to feel comfortable. I have like none. so it, my goal is that if I can take,
Ethereum is the ultrasound money. Bitcoin's just what gets people started.
yeah, and that's why, that's why I didn't just buy the coin. I learned about Ethereum, which this one right here, Out of the Ether. This one was amazing. I'll tell you that it was about this one really took me down the rabbit hole, and it just goes into the history of Ethereum and kind of how it all started, and it just made sense. It kind of blew me away. That one, and then what's my big one? This one right here. This one will throw you through a fucking loop, and it talks about digital identities. It talks about all this stuff that we're just now talking a little bit about, almost to the point where it's kind of scary because it goes that deep, and you're like, holy shit. Like that's what it did to me. It kind of blew me away to where I was like, I can't take this stuff as no joke, and I almost felt like I was like going too crazy. But I took a step back and I said, all right, let's just look at this. And communities make sense. What I'm, digital identity, the structure of a DAO, like DAOs being like in the world, that makes sense to me. Just a few things, and that's why some will say, oh, you're a paper hander, and for me, I'm a profit taker because I want to put these profits towards other things. But yeah, I definitely want to get my hands on some Bitcoin.
Yeah, with just those numbers, man. I apologize. I'm living like 5.5 years in the past. There's now 62 million millionaires.
60, yeah.
And 62 million millionaires, and there's still only going to be a total of 21 million Bitcoin. That really hasn't changed. Mm-hmm. And in terms out of those 62 million millionaires, there's only about 800,000 addresses that have more than one Bitcoin. And this 800,000 addresses control like a lot of the Bitcoin.
See, I'm looking at that 0 to that top one right there. Still 3 million addresses holding at least a little bit of Bitcoin, or is that no Bitcoin at all?
This right here?
Yeah.
This we can classify this as no Bitcoin.
Okay, the no coiners.
Yeah. So I mean these people. I mean this is 0.01. So what do we have? How much would that be? So if this is 17,000, this is 1,700. So this is like $170 in Bitcoin. To like $1,700 in Bitcoin. So between $200 and $2,000 in Bitcoin.
Yeah, see,
there's 7 million. There's 7 million people, and those 7 million people are part of these 25%, and
it makes me feel behind, man. It makes me feel like I gotta stop playing around.
I mean, the thing is that these numbers are crazy because, like, even like if you look at the people that have between 10 and 100 Bitcoin, there's 137,000 of those addresses, and they own 82% of all the Bitcoin in the world. So if you said like even people that have more than one Bitcoin, people that have one Bitcoin or more, that's 93% of all the Bitcoin. So the rich are holding Bitcoin. I mean if you have one Bitcoin, it's a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And the people that have one Bitcoin or more, which is less than 1 million people out of 63 million millionaires, they own 93% of all the Bitcoin in the world. So it's like the vast majority of it. I mean, it's worse. I mean, it's like crazy than that because you have like 0%. Oh, well, that's like 2% of all the addresses in the world. Yeah. So less. So yeah. So here's a crazier number to break our heart. If addresses that have at least 10 Bitcoin, there's less than 150,000 of those. These are actually like not even rich people. I mean, what's 10 Bitcoin? I mean, that's $200,000, right? That's not like millions. But if you have, there's 150 people that have at least $200,000 in Bitcoin. that's less than 1%. That's less than 0.5% of all the Bitcoin addresses in the world. So less than 0.5% of all the Bitcoin addresses in the world own 83% of all the Bitcoin in the world. I mean, it's a lot, right? And so, and I'm not trying to depress anybody. I mean, this should excite you, because what you need to amplify this with is that, you know, and we've seen similar stuff like this before, but if when the banks start buying Bitcoin, and, you know, we can talk about it later, but when, you know, BlackRock, they have $8 trillion, which is a lot of money, right? It's like $1 trillion, like 1,000 billion, and $1 billion is a lot of money. People underestimate how much $1 billion is. And so they have like this $8 trillion fund, and they're predicting that crypto is going to be huge. That they think that, you know, blockchain technology is going to be the next generation for markets. That they think that all of securities are going to be tokenized, which is a monumental statement to say with $8 trillion. Make it a little bit bigger. You know, that crypto is going to be used to transfer stocks and bonds and investment. This technology is going to be very important, instantaneously transferring, no middlemen, dramatically bringing down fees. Think about it. It changes the whole ecosystem, is what the CEO of BlackRock is saying. And this blows my mind. He's saying that not all the companies are going to survive, because the collapse of FTX is at odds with the whole foundation of what crypto is. Like, how freaking crazy. Like, this is mind blowing. The CEO of FTX, I'm sorry, my apologies. The CEO of BlackRock knows that FTX is the antithesis of what crypto is all about. And that he actually believes that most of these companies aren't going to be around, like I said. And yeah, so the point is that they have this $8 trillion that they are going to be investing into crypto. And at the same time, the Harvard is telling central banks that they should be buying crypto and Bitcoin. And there's already like a short squeeze on Bitcoin, even at these prices. So, you know, like our involvement, right, for our community, for our family, for our friends, even like our enemies, you know what I mean? It's like you want to have as many people to be participating in this industry as possible, because the train is leaving the station. The rocket ship is you know, leaving planet Earth. We've been talking about this for a long time, and people have been so fiercely against this narrative of mining, of NFTs. And I think that, you know, having conversations like this are critical, right? Of like having the stories and sitting around a fire and talking about how did we get involved in a crypto, and what was it like, you know, for you when you participated in this, or when you got into that. And then, you know, talking about the future, what do we think is possible with ourselves, with each other, for my industry, for your industry, right? And having these conversations is really shedding, like, I think, a fire under the possibility. But it's not going to happen without, you know, people coming together and just talking. And so I want to thank you guys for just getting together and talking. This is like really fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's flying by. I didn't realize what time it was already. The baby woke up. But
I was like, oh shit.
yeah, baby woke up. I was surprised she stayed down that long. But yeah,
Do you guys want to have a private show after this? Or
we may be able to. I'll have to see how the little one's doing. She usually wakes up, and then we kind of usually got to feed her and kind of do a few things with her to lay her back down.
I hear you, man.
Yeah,
feed those babies.
Yeah, it's a blessing though. But no, it's cool talking to you guys. It's cool. I think that couples. Well, one other thing, you know, it's great to have your couple involved. You know, your partner involved, and do it as a couple, because it's nice to have that person, as I mentioned, you can vent to when you can't let it all out on social media, or it's just driving you nuts. And you need somebody to talk to, and So it's great to have that, and then it's also good. Yeah, because it's not like I'm just like the crazy guy going down the rabbit hole anymore. It's like I feel like I've got to teach her something, and even if it doesn't make sense, she'll be like, "Hey, that don't make sense," and then it makes me have to go deeper on like how to explain something, or like if I say something, she's like, "I don't understand that." I gotta like go through deeper and make sure that I can explain it in a way that's understanding. And if it's not, and if I can't do that, maybe I don't understand it. So some of it's a reality check for me on certain things. Um, but it is awesome and it's fun. As far as on Twitter and like spaces and whatnot, that was where I remember talking to my first spaces, and I was in there with like a few big dogs, and uh, I was like, I'll never show my face, I'll never talk. Like I just want to stay anonymous, and that didn't last very long. I remember my first spaces, I'm like on the phone, I'm like shaking. I'm like, what do I say to these people? There's 50 people in this room, and it just came off natural. And then ever since then, you can't shut me up on them. And the same with her, like she's gotten so much better in spaces, and even with talking to like a crowd of people. I know it's not a crowd of people in front of you, but you're doing it to a virtual crowd to where like I honestly feel like I could go up and talk in front of anybody if I really had to. Will I look like a dumbass? Maybe. Will I go and do it without choking? Yeah, I could do that. I don't know if I'll do the best job, but I can do it. uh and so one other thing is it's built a tolerance for us, right? Because on Twitter there are some trolls, there are some people that like they talk shit, they run their mouth. Doing it with your partner on there, you guys have a different me 2 years ago, somebody would have say some shit to her or like say something that's just disrespectful. I couldn't shake it off. It's like I get heated, I get worked up, and it's not like I'm not okay with her being disrespected, but she understands, and she's tough as a fucking rhino. Like her skin is thick at this point, which is good. It's almost like I was okay with it. I could do stuff because I played like Xbox growing up and certain things, and you had to deal with kids online that would like disrespect you. They talk about your family. They talk about
Kids are mean.
dude. They'd say some fucked up things, and you couldn't let nobody
Terribly mean.
terribly mean, and you can't let people know anything about you because they would use it against you. Because this is just some random guy across the world that wants to find a way to make you look bad or like feel like a piece of shit. So they'll do so. And some people on Twitter are kind of like that too. But I used to get like super heated, and there's a few times like even on like Twitter, like somebody's kind of crossed the line, and I'm like, I've shot somebody a DM and be like, hey bro, we're cool, but like don't do that to her. like one or two people, and if they don't get it, like I kind of I'll just have to, I can't be associated with you because you're gonna piss me off. But there is sometimes where like some things happen now, and like we can just brush it off. She can just brush it off, and it's like things that I think a year ago you gotta get in the ring with the bulls. You gotta get in the ring with the trolls, and then you can just like it ain't shit. You're like, nah, that ain't nothing. To where it does. It just kind of it's a weird learning experience with how people work, especially when you can't see them face to face. People are a lot more open to being disrespectful and saying whatever they want, like some stuff that they want to do in person, because it's just it's just through Twitter, and sometimes it's hard. I think some people get their feelings hurt, and some people can't shake that off, and you just gotta learn to play the game. I remember like I've seen Gary step out a few times in some spaces and say some things I didn't think would come out of Gary, and I'm like cracking up, where I'm just like, Gary ain't no punk. Gary lets it out when he gotta let it out, and it's cool. It's cool to see that side of things, because some people they're like so passive, and there's which is okay. I get it. I get being respectful. I'm respectful. I got manners. And then there's also you gotta just learn to have two sides to you. Like this is you, and then this is you when you're around people that don't give a shit. Like you can also, you can stand for yourself. You can not give a shit. And there's times where like I remember like a few months ago somebody might have said something. She kind of like looks at me like, what do I say? And like I used to be like, say this or something. And now it's not that. Like somebody might say something to her, and I just kind of like let it go. It's almost like a little test. I just kind of sit back. I'm like, I wonder what she's gonna say, and then she just handles herself completely fine. And it's I don't know, I could be a weirdo for thinking so, but it's like I don't know, it's a strength, because it's like if you can do with this little stuff, you'll eventually somebody can say whatever to you without you getting your feelings hurt, without you taking it too personal, which is good. Sticks and stones, and sometimes people will do everything they can to hurt you or to just I don't know, try to get you rattled. And then when you deal with enough people trying to get you rattled, and you can still sit there all calm and like not get rattled, it's like the fuck is wrong with this guy? But it's just like you trained yourself to do that.
It just depends on what the situation is. And, you know, a lot of people, they treat every situation the same, and just every situation is not the same, right? It's like most situations, this is how you handle most situations, but then you have some situations at this end, and then you have some situations at that end of the spectrum. And, you know, people aren't used to edge cases, and it can be really difficult. That's what throws people off their game, is the edge cases. You're not playing enough. And if you're not playing enough, then you're not getting that distribution of crazy shit that can happen. And people just need to, you know, they need to, you know, have integrity, and they need to have some candor, and they have to have some humility. They need to have some experience. They need to have some, you know, there's all sorts of things that are great for people to have, but people need a, you know, you gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to fold them.
Right.
You know,
and that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, there's different ways to handle the same situation depending on the context of that situation. And, you know, it's just where we put our attention, you know, is what's going to have the focus, right? And what we measure, and, you know, like what our goals are is, you know, what is inside our vision. And there's things that happen that sort of throw us off our game, or, you know, distract us in our blinders. And we need to know how to handle those situations, but sometimes we don't know how to handle those situations. And for me, what I found is that's when it's best to have a community. That's when it's best to have different circles in your life. You know, you have your family circle, and you have different, you know, levels of family or circles. You know, you have different circles of friends and community. And we need to grow those circles, right? We need to increase the number of circles. We have to create a sphere, right? Because there's so many circles. And that, you know, these are like, you know, Venn diagrams are overlapping. And even the most obscure person in our community will fit and overlap in multiple circles. And this is one giant community, right? In a sense that we are human beings who are participating in Web3. We are human beings who are participating on Twitter, right? We do exist. Like, not all of us are bots. Some of us are asses, right? And some of us don't speak up. And some of us have poor styles of communication, right? Sometimes me included. But if we're going to get through what it is that we need to get through, and if we want to get to where we want to go, I don't think we're going to get there by ourselves. And if we do, it's not going to be as meaningful or as successful. And so I'm just looking to learn and grow and figure this out. And, you know, just see what it is that we can build, and what can we make the final destination look like.
No, that was awesome, and I'm with you. That's why again, you know, I came for the money, and now it's at the point to where, like, I feel like I couldn't leave if I tried. Like, you probably take the money off the table, we could start trading these pictures for you know, pieces of bread, and I'd still like get a kick out of it. Especially just the people I've met, and that's one thing. I did this little interview with ENS Central. Great guys, they're very professional, but that's one thing I kind of got at. Just at a point right now to where there's not a whole lot in like my real life, and not in like a depressing way, but like not a whole lot is exciting. I don't see like a lot of light in a lot of the things that kind of go on. It's like, it's a nice little breakaway, you know. And now I went from like having a circle of friends in real life that I talked to, and we just talked about the same stuff for years. And I love these guys like family. But it's also to a point where like I just felt like life was on repeat, and like nothing was changing, nothing was progressing. It was just the same old. And I was like, damn, man, like, you know, stuff kind of gets old, especially when like your circle's not doing a whole lot. And again, I love my circle, I love them. But now, you know, that they like hit me up kind of, and they're like, bro, we haven't heard from you in like 8 months. You know, I've had my daughter, they still haven't seen her, like, just because I don't go out, I don't take her like a lot of places unless I have to.
You're hustling,
and that's just it. And like I know, like,
on your family.
And that's what I'm trying to do. You know, I go to work and I come home and I do my other work, which to some people, they won't even get it. Like, I couldn't even take the time to try to explain it to them because I'd sound crazy. But I'm like, when the time comes and like I can tell somebody's genuinely interested or like want to be like educated, I'll help. But for now, like I can't just take time to like explain this whole thing to you when I know that it's just not going to click, and that's okay because it's not meant to click for you right now. It's still clicking for me. So, but what I'm getting at is now I got new circles, like you said, I got new circles of friends. Like I got people I call like every day, and it's different people. I have like a handful of people that have my number, and we talk about different things. But I got friends in states I've never been to. I got friends in countries I've never been to. I got people that have experienced more, like they've done, they're double my age, and like they have real life experience that like, yeah, I got a mom and a dad, and I love my mom and dad, and they've taught me some things, but there's, you can't know everything. But what I can do is get around the right people. This person knows this person knows this person knows this. And some stuff you can't go to college and learn. You're not going to learn that from a book. Like you got to get the real life from the real voices that have lived that life, walked that path, and done these things. And it's crazy how many people are like on Twitter, like especially the people that you can meet and the people that you can like build friendships with. I have a couple different group chats. Some that are like, let's talk about what's going on, and then other ones where it's like, we don't give a shit what's going on. It's like the 15 of us that have been cool for like a year and a half now. What are you eating for dinner? Where are you flying to? Hey, any of you guys know about this? I'm going to look at a house. Like, can anybody give me tips? Like, just crazy stuff, like just real life things. And I love it, man. I'm addicted to it. It's so much fun. I feel like I've got like, Thanksgiving. Where were we? Like I was on here, taking some drinks with you guys because it was like it's a whole.
That was great, man. That's gonna be
like.
It was
that
so
was
much fun.
The most incredible, like pre Thanksgiving, and it was so amazing because it's like we have a big family, everybody get together, but it's like the highlight was like getting together with your chosen family. And I mean, I always say so there are people that are wired for, and I don't know if wired is the right word, but they just do like the 9 to 5 or work for the companies, or and they're happy. They go to the same bar after work and they talk about the same things. And there's this certain sense of comfort in what we know. And then I say there are people that are wired for growth. Like I always, like when I met Gary, I was like, I just always grow and I always learn. And it makes it really challenging if you are in relationship with somebody who isn't wired the same way, and your growth might happen differently, and it sometimes might happen in different directions. Like there's some things that I'm totally into that Gary is just like, I couldn't care less about. But I think that it's that energy of growth. And it really is true. Like I spent a lot of time because of our Web2 business doing networking. And I spent a lot of time in, small business groups and medium business groups and referrals, and do a lot of presentations and talks. And I constantly talk about this, and it's true. It's been true in Web2, and it is true in Web3, is how do you up-level your business? That there are levels, that if you have a person who's new in the business, right, they bring a lot of energy because they have all these crazy ideas, and there might be young kind of in age, or they might just be starting their own business. But there's this huge wave of learning, but there's also that huge wave of excitement. So if you've been in business for 10 years and you feel a little stale, that actually helps everybody else, right? Because you can ride on that wave. And if you've been in business for 20 years, it's like that's the time where it's like you give back and you become a mentor. So there are levels as to where you are, that I think that if you're a business owner, it's set up in such a way that you constantly get challenged, and you constantly have to meet your edge, and you constantly have to break through glass ceiling, and you constantly have to look at solutions, and you're constantly going to be challenged. That isn't presented if you're just kind of comfortably like going to work and somebody else is writing your paychecks, and you don't have the you don't have the desire to do the side hustle, because that's really like how we both started with our company, as a sort of side hustle. Like people were like, hey, can you guys help us with marketing? And we're both realized that although we worked in different areas of marketing, like they complemented each other really well. But I say it time and time again, if you are in a room where you're the smartest person, like it is the wrong room for you. right? And that's exactly what you're talking about, Guayman, is being being in rooms where people are going to challenge you, where they've like achieved tremendous amount of success, and just being in that energy, and then also forging relationships with them, right? It comes into that place where it's like, they have all this knowledge, and so they're at the point where it's like they're passing it in a way of mentorship. And a lot of us are in different stages of our business building, and this has nothing to do with age. I mean, you can be 60 years old and just start your own business. I mean, but I think that that's why it's so exciting, because we meet each other in these different places. And I think that that's something different that's happening right now that didn't necessarily happen on the kind of the beginnings of like the Bitcoin or Ethereum boom, because it was very much about like buying or selling or buying more, but the community wasn't such a big aspect of it. And I always say that, in some ways, although I'm not 100% sure where NFTs are going to go, I think that we're just seeing like the tip of the iceberg as to like what they're going to do in the world. But I think that what they brought is the sense of community, because I think you can't have a successful project without having a successful community. But the question always is that community authentic? And I think ENS has done it so well in actually building authentic community, because it's, yes, you can do some quick flips, but I think a lot of it is really going to be revealed when it comes to longevity of the project. And we're kind of so early. And so, we might be like sitting on some boat in 10 or 15 years and being like, hey, do you remember like what it was like in 2022?
One can only hope. So, Boyman, my question for you before we close it out: are you gonna wear your hat to work?
No. and I even got a custom Sappy Seal hoodie with my seal on it, and I don't know if I'll wear that out either, because I was thinking about it. I was like, man, it'd be cool, but it's got like my seal on it. And what if there is some stranger at the store behind me that happens to know what the hell a Sappy Seal is, and then they go and they check which traits I have, because I kind of got like I got one that's hard to miss. I got a fire seal. I upgraded my seal, by the way, but so I'm like, what if he tracks my damn traits and then he finds my wallet with all this, and then he wants to follow me home? Or I'm still like kind of paranoid to where do you wear your hat out, Gary?
Normally I do not.
Right.
I do not. Yeah, I've been struggling. Like I wear nondescript. Like you can't really. I mean, the only way, like some of my clothes, the only way to know that it's crypto, you'd have to like really be in it. Like you'd have to like have just as much knowledge as me. Like some of these like obscure logos that I got that I normally wear out.
Right.
Like Lex Dow and stuff like that. But
I mean, even your hat now, I'm sure like you probably have to at least know something to know what the hell 2223 is, or like to even be like, why does he have that number?
Maybe I've won the 2223 out, or like I got this one that has like this wooden burn. It's like a wooden patch that's burned in with my ape. Like the image of my ape is burned into the wooden chip.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I want to see it. Oh, that's dope.
That's really dope.
Yeah. And so then like this patch comes off.
So you can change it. That's really
cool.
We
have local artists that do that, and the guys are amazing. And
they send it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's.
Well, see, and that's just it. I think people, a random somebody will know about what a Bored Ape is before they understood a 4-digit ENS even.
Mm-hmm.
To where like I probably could wear it. Again, I worked with my dad, and I think that I've explained .eth to him. I've explained ENS. I've told him about the crazy trends.
Someone's got to be like, I was in Bogota with my Gary Palmer Jr. .eth hat, and people were just they're like, what's your name? And I'm like, they like thought it was like a brand or a company or like yeah, somebody's got to know. If they know, they know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got this badass ape jacket coming. It's like, oh man, do I wear it or do I not wear it? Or
Well, I think people might know. I guess it depends where you're going. I don't know like where you live, and I don't want to know. I don't know like what it's like around your part of town. Um, if somebody sees me out and they're smart enough to like know what the hell a Bored Ape is, and I was wearing some Bored Ape merch, I'd probably run into some issues in my area. Like maybe not, but people are funky, man, and I don't trust anybody. Like
yeah, people are funky everywhere.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I know people.
I mean, you got to like prepare for all sorts of things. You know what I mean? It's good to know how to gun works. It's good to get a gun permit. You know what I mean? It's good to own. You know, I think I'm pro gun. I mean,
my boy Gary, stay strapped up.
I'm pro. I mean, I'm pro freedom, man. So
yeah, no, there you go.
I don't know how else to say it, you know, without going into the after show. But people need to be pro freedom. That means you gotta own your money, you gotta own your identity, you gotta own your food, you gotta own your protection. And we have communities that we, you know, lean on for food and protection and all sorts of things. But you know, being free means not being dependent on anybody. And
Right.
I think we talked about this before. You know, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
what we eat and what we put into our bodies, and
It's on us.
and it's really hard because it's like we're not the people that are being protected and cared for. You know what I mean? It's like we're a product of the system, and you have to take care of yourself and your own community because no one else is going to do it for you. And you know, it's like the food that we eat, the food that our babies eat. I mean, you guys know about the Cheerios scandal, right? You guys know like the Cheerios filled with the pesticides. You guys ever see that? Or the baby powder with the cancer causing, you know, agents in the tech powder or baby powder. You guys know about that?
I've heard about the baby powder, but I've never heard about the Cheerios.
Well, fact check me at maybe after the show, like, you know, because there's so many pesticides on the wheat. And then, yeah, so just check out the Cheerios. And then, yeah, man, it's like really hard. It's hard to go out of the way to get the extra produce and to steam it and to mash it and to trick the baby into eating it. You know? Like,
yeah, no,
I've gone through it, you know, 5 times.
Yeah, it's definitely tougher, but like you said, bro, it's up to us, and you know, like you said, we're just a product of the system, really. So you gotta you know, take care of yourself, look out for yourself. I'm also pro gun. I was pro gun, and I took action to make sure that my household is pro gun, and the wifey didn't like that as much at first, but I was like, okay, I'll put it in a safe spot, you know, stuff like that. But it's just something you have to do, especially getting older, living alone, and you know, it's like, fuck, I'm dad. Like, I remember when I was a kid, it's like, oh, dad's here, you know, dad will beat somebody up or dad will take care of it. And now I don't live with dad. I'm dad. So I'm like, damn, dad got to take care of it. So no, I'm with you.
There's definitely best practices, you know what I mean? And it's definitely, you know, good to do gun safety, and it's definitely good to go shooting, you know, kind of semi often. And it's a good activity, you know, to do with people, you know what I mean? If you're like, you know, you're safe and you follow, you know, you really care about following safety protocol, because that's really, really important. But yeah, I mean, just like eating, like, you know, eating is something that we need to learn how to do, and being in community and educating each other and learn, like there's a lot of things that our ancestors used to do that we've outsourced, and it's knowledge that we're losing. And this is important knowledge that we need to make sure that our communities don't completely lose and that our children don't lose. Because, you know, if our children like lose the ability to know what nutrition is, then that's not good. If they lose the ability to know what freedom is, that's not good. So, you know, it's upon us and everybody in the community to, you know, help pass down that knowledge and those values. But
100%, 100%, and that's why I like, you know, I like having a friend like you, someone I could talk to. Like a lot of my circle, man, my real life circle. Again, I love them to death, love them like my brothers. But it's just like there's certain things we don't talk about, and we're at different points in our lives. Like I'm a father, and some of them aren't, and there's just certain things that go through my mind that like they won't even like think about. Or it's like if I want to like actually have if I actually have some concerns, I'm feeling some anxiety, I want to talk about it. I'm talking about it with people I know, like, are just pitching out the window. It's like they don't take it serious because I just know them. Like I know them and I love them, but I know how far their interest goes and how serious they'll take certain certain just things I'm concerned about. And then it's like I feel like I'm just talking to a wall. So now I can at least talk to other people that have been through it and just know how it goes. And I don't sound like a fucking crazy guy in the circle when I'm like expressing certain concerns and a few other things. So I do appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys definitely having us on. Two things. So I know you're gonna close it down. I do work in the morning, and I think I might spend some baby time. I might have to pass on the after show tonight. But before we go, I'm gonna screw myself for a second, and I'm gonna give an early.
This isn't that type of channel.
So
That's definitely after show stuff.
So my Christmas list isn't too big for drowning, right? But I got a few cool things, and I'm gonna go ahead and ruin one of them right now. So
okay, hold on.
No. Yo, I want you to listen. Can you hear?
I could hear.
Hey, I want you to hear this.
I don't like hearing.
All right, so look, we're gonna. Sorry if I yelled at you guys' ear. So I'm gonna ruin an early Christmas present.
Uh-oh.
I want it.
So I had this tucked. I told her I only got one, but I know it's only 1,000, and I can't be in the house with just mine. So
she's like, that piece of crap. He knows I'm supposed to get a copy of every NFT.
Yep, that's just it. So there was a few little. There
Yeah.
she is. So there was a couple things that I had up my sleeve that I was like, all right, I'll get these, and I kind of won't show them. But we were talking about the hat. We're here as a couple. I wanted you guys to be there for that Christmas gift, but I hooked her up with a hat, and now she's got one. So I wanted to do it on the show.
So cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, she looks better with it forward than I
you look
do.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, you're on mute if you're talking. Sharna. Is she talking?
I'm not sure.
Guys,
There
I'm
she is.
so sorry. I had my mic muted. I thought you guys were listening to me, and then I guess I was just talking to myself. But I'm
She's
trying
all
to figure
happy.
out how to make it tighter so I look cooler.
we'll get that one figured out. But yeah, no, I got her hooked up. You know, I can't put mine to the front, but she could put hers to the front.
There we go.
Yay.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Next week, Ada will have hers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mine is upstairs.
Yeah, that.
I have one hat that I love that we got from oh my god, what is that project, Gary, with the squiggly?
Oh yeah, the squiggle.
Art blocks.
You guys got a squiggle? That's badass.
No, we don't own a squiggly. We have
I have a
hat with the squiggly logo on it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, a squiggly.
I
is
wish we
in my
had a
to-do list.
squiggly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
squigglies are you know, they're pricey. They're pretty cool. I don't know the full tech behind it, but I know it can be some serious stuff, and even used as like a signature
check out
and
art blocks.
art blocks. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, art blocks. I mean, it's just like computer generated art.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of it. You can check out my gallery at primarymega.com. I got a lot hanging up in the gallery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Definitely, she's in love with it.
Yeah, I got two of them. I got Ada Dariz and I got Unfolded Live Dariz.
Ada is so badass. Like I just gotta say, it is so badass. You got an awesome 3-letter, which on its own could be like, if we're just talking price, I think that they'll do their thing. It might be longer, and not all of them, but you know, the right ones. And then it's a palindrome. Like, come on, you got a great one.
Crazy. It's actually my name.
That's nuts.
Even super cooler.
Yeah, that's.
I wasn't fortunate
insane.
to get my name. It's not very common, but I guess someone else has it. I guess.
Keep those low bids. Keep those low bids coming in, especially if we get into a deeper like recession or economic situation.
Yeah.
Keep making those flips and keep those low bids and those grails. And you don't know. I've seen crazy shit. You know, the 888 sold for like less than 1 Ethereum, and then they flipped it for 8 Ethereum. You know, or whatever that was. You know, it's like people accept really low bids.
Yep. No, I scored a first name just the other week off like pretty much half an ETH with the way that the trade went down, and it's not my name, but it's somebody's name. So we'll see.
Yeah.
If you guys know a Casey, like tell him to get at me.
Yeah, Casey. How do you spell it?
Kacey.
Kaceey. Is that how my sister spells it?
So there's a few different ways people spell them. I know that, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah. So there's a few different ways, but we can
Yeah,
shut it down.
cool.
I wanted to make sure I gave the hat. She loves it now. She's happy showing the face.
Congrats.
Yeah.
I
Well,
turned on my camera just for you.
Love it. I love the
loving
hat.
it. Thanks. Well, hey, I hope maybe we can get together next week. Maybe, if not another day this week, if Sunday. Keep the Soul Sunday going, talking about community, just getting people together, chit-chatting about, maybe whatever comes up, still trying to figure out how to do formats of the show and things like that. But I thought, today's conversation was really cool, just flowing and just like deep jiving, and connecting. I really appreciate your stories, and it was like fun to hear how similar sounding your stories were to some of our stories. And,
it's always nice to be able to relate. So
yeah, this one was chill. It was just like a laid back. I think that this is like an easy watch. It was an easy go. I think this is one of the fastest the show's felt, and it's just because we just talked as friends, kind of. And I'm sure people out there, maybe it helps somebody that's either in a relationship and has their partner involved, and it's like, yeah, okay, that makes us feel better. And if not, maybe it'll encourage some people to bring their partners on, because like a lot of people I know have it, and I've talked to people. I'm like, does your wife know you do this? Like, oh, she could care less about this, and stuff like that. But let's be honest, if you really are about this stuff, I feel like you want to tell your loved ones about it. You want to get them involved. You want them to be educated on it.
100%.
So that's why I had to bring mine, and I've tried to bring like a few others, and like you can just tell when people are ready and when they're not. But for the people that are here and they're like deeper in it than I am, and they're like, yeah, my wife don't give a shit, or she don't even know what I'm doing. It's like, well, why not? And that's not for me to ask, so I don't ask it. But just broad statement. Like, I'm not saying you have to split your NFTs with her, but like you should let her know about this crypto stuff. If something happens to you, and that's part of what I do too. And I know I'm past the showtime here, and this is like, but man, if something happens to me, and I did all this hustle and this grind, and I got some things tucked away on a ledger somewhere,
you want her to know how to.
She has to know what to do.
100%. We talked about it in the past. Like, that's like really, really, really important.
Happens a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, there's. Thankfully, there are women communities, and because it can feel a little bit like a bro culture, I just want to say that it's there are incredible women communities, and women are building incredible companies and incredible Web3 platforms, and it's amazing to be in that space with other women. Like, that has been really life-changing for me, because I mean, it's great kind of, being in this space all together. And it's so amazing to have this conversation, here with you guys. And, but I also think it's pretty amazing. Like, once you tap into these like women spaces, like ENS Queens do it really, really well. And I honestly don't know if I would be as involved and engaged in the scene if I didn't find those pockets. Because for me, that's just like, it's just, the spaces are not as competitive, and it makes it really amazing to just like connect on that slower speed, which sometimes, when you're just getting into the space, is like really.
What are you trying to say? You can't connect one of the scuff spaces?
I mean, they're a little rough. Like, I overhear sometimes Gary on those spaces, and I'm just like, I'm
dude, my kid walks into my office and he's like, "You're such a fucking degenerate."
He literally turns his space on, and I'm like, "Can you turn them off?"
Yeah, sometimes she gets fed up.
I just can only get so much of them a week.
I'm in there for training. Like, that's what I'm in there to get my skin thicker. I'm in there to it's my social experiment. I want to watch how these chess pieces play. So
for you guys, it's like combat training. For us, it's like ouchies.
Yeah.
ENS.
100%.
But no, and that's one thing with the women too. I think it's the same thing with her. It's why I'm so grateful.
I'll speak for myself. Yeah, that is the same exact reason for me too. I really don't think I would be in this space if there wasn't any women, especially the ones that I have connected with. It is obviously a male-dominated space. Everyone always says that. But you know, like it really is. And you know, me like being like a woman, like I just, you know, I don't find like that you know, I don't like that. Like I don't want to just like hang out with a bunch of bros. Like, you know, I'm not really like a kid anymore. Like, you know, I can't really connect with, you know, them as much as I can like women. So,
Yeah, no, I know. Like, there's been some real connections for her that make me grateful. I've even messaged some of her friends, and I'm just like, I just want to say thank you for like being so nice to her and like making her feel
I don't
welcome.
know if you should be like telling her that you're messaging her female friends.
Well,
This is like a recorded
Tell
space.
Tell Ada. Be like, Ada, thank you.
yeah. See, I will, but I reach out sometimes. I could tell nights like, shit. There's nights where she's sick of me, and like, you know, she might be like, I'm done with you for the night. But I like she still has communication. She still has like people, like I can still see her, like I'll be in the other room and I still see her active on Twitter or like just having fun, and like it makes me feel good because I'm like, all right, I fucked up today, but she still has these friends that like they just come through, and some of them are mothers that I know, that some of them are nurses that we've had health concerns or mom concerns, and she's like, well, I was like, you know, I was thinking this, but like I talked to blah blah blah, and they also experienced it, and just like things like that. It's nice.
I'm like very much a hypochondriac and a germaphobe, so I'll 3402 is a nurse, and she's one of my very closest friends in this space. And like I'll look at her, I'm like, am I dying? Like I need you to like literally like tell me straight. And she's like, what? Like what do you mean are you dying? She's like, that is completely fine. And I'm like, are you sure like I'm not dying? Like
yeah, she calms it down, which is nice because me, you know, I'm kind of like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, look, you're good. I'm like, you're good. Chill out. Like it's all up here. That's my answer every time, even though I'm right a lot of the time. You know, it's nice when other people can kind of come through with it, but I love it, and I could tell like even with the seals. I remember I sold a seal a while back, and she's in this group called the Sappy Sisters, and it was like, you sold my seal, like I like the sisters, like, and I'm like, shit, I literally have to like buy you another seal because you're in this group of friends. You're in this group of friends, and I don't want you to lose that. So like that community that like I'm engaged, and then like when I'm like, hey, I might sell this, and she gets like actually upset. She don't care about usually, you know, you're like, hey, I'm gonna sell this and put this money in the bank, we can buy something, and she's like, but my friends, and I'm like, all right, I can't do that. So no, very, very grateful for it, and I see it. You know, I have my little community, and I see she has hers. She even has her whole own little circle now that I'm not even a part of. There's people that like are her friends more than they are my friends, and we're just acquainted because they know of like the couple, and it's just awesome. So, but definitely I appreciate you guys having us, and I know we went over time because we just kept rambling on, but it's just part of the couples being involved, man. It's like there's good, there's bad.
Fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. I mean,
yeah.
it's just, I mean, we are infected with excitement, and you know, it's interesting because some men in the space talk about the separation that they have from their wives with their participation in Web3, and it's such a foreign, you know, like concept for me to have that desire to not want to do everything you can to pull the people that you love most into the circle, right? So they could, you know, go down these rabbit holes with you and participate in these conversations with you, and you know, heaven allow them to get in the same clubs as you, you know, so you could have more of your IRL friends and IRL family, you know, part of this, the beginning of this Web3 shift. You know, it's like so meaningful for us, and you just think, you know, how beautiful it is, and you want that beauty to just extend all around you, right? Especially with the person that you love and hold most dear. Yeah, man, you got to start buying like 5 of everything. You got to get 1 for you, 1 for drowning, 1 for the kid, 1 to sell.
And if he doesn't, it's a
one
wrap.
for the future kid.
Yeah, that's funny you said that, because I was shopping for something, and she was like, I thought you said you were done buying, and I was like, I feel like we need 1 for her, like that way we can all like be like this little family of these things.
Yeah, does your kid even have their own wallet yet with their like NFTs and crypto kitty?
If I'm honest, no. You know, she's a super
rhetorical.
Yeah, she's a super newcomer, but it's definitely coming. I think that Yeah, exactly. It's in the works, and that's part of me getting myself kind of situated first, and then also finding those things I really think like, I don't want to buy. I don't want to put a bunch of rug pulls on a ledger. Like, here you go, baby. It's a bunch of fucking.
Well, I still need a ledger. I kind of mooch off of his. So maybe we'll set it up at the same time and he'll kind of teach me how to do all of that.
I have a
That'd be a great
couple.
idea.
Yeah, I've got a couple ledgers like on my own, but they're kind of like I have them allocated for different like things to where she knows how to watch them, she knows how to track them, she knows like I just have to give her the whole breakdown of like having her own and like storing her seed and just doing.
Do that offline, so you're not sharing some of your process with the rest of the world. Maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's really, really important that your loved ones, understand that stuff. Obviously, right? No passwords, no stuff like that. Have like, I mean, there's a lot of best practices we can get into, but maybe we'll save it for next time.
Yeah, and I think that'd be a really good one.
Yeah. So, Gwayman, anything else you want to say to close it out, or where people can find you?
Yeah, so you guys can find me on Twitter at gwayman.eth, or I don't have 6912 in my name yet. It's just in the bio, so ignore that. I'm just flexing the digits. But I just want to say, I've already said it, but thanks for having us on tonight. And then this was really fun. I actually really like this one. I love the educational nights and like bringing me up to speed, and I enjoyed just being on here with the wifey and having you guys share a little bit about you. I think I need to come with more questions for you guys next time, because I feel like I was talking a whole lot tonight. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about you guys on the next one. What about you, Drown? You got anything to say before we leave?
Well, I guess I'll shill also. Follow me, drowninginpussy.eth or at Queen Gway. But I just want to thank you guys for having us on here. I had a blast. Now I can sometimes I tune in, but now I see why Gwayman comes on here. It's a really good time. I love hanging out, especially with, people that I care about, even if it's virtually. So yeah, Ada, I will see you on Thursday in our little meeting. But
Absolutely.
yeah, you guys have a great night, and thank you so much for having us.
So I'm gonna piece one more thing in, right? Just to piggyback off what she just said. Just for everyone's knowledge, okay? She has a name that's very degenerate. She did that on her own. When she came into the space, I set her up with a name. I got it for her. I gave her the idea to rock it on Twitter. I gave her the name The Crypto Mom. and I was like, okay, we ain't gotta go with that. We don't have to do that. But I was involved with this NFT called Crypto Dads, and I'm no longer in there. But I was like, worst case, one of these guys will buy it for their wife. You're gonna be the crypto dad, she could be the crypto mom, blah blah blah. Let's make some ETH. So then she got her own little thing, and she was Queen Gway. That's why her hat says Queen Gway.
I was Gway woman first, so.
Oh yeah, and then I got a Gway woman. So Gway man, Gway woman.
So when the ENS Queens first started, they brought Punks in to that's why he's in the Discord, because he was kind of helping us out a bit. And he was like, oh, there's a Gway woman, and he instantly left the chat. He was just he's like, I feel uncomfortable, I gotta go.
Yeah, he
friends, but I just thought that was so funny. I was like, who is this Punks person, and why does it matter if there's a Gway woman?
Yeah, I think people thought that she was there's a famous Twitter guy named Thread Guy, and then Thread Girl got her name kind of being like a runoff of Thread Guy. They're not related, they're not in relations, she just took the name. I think some people thought she was doing that with Gway Woman, but I just thought it'd be cool, like Gway Man, Gway Woman, like some superhero type shit. Yeah. So I hooked up with that, and then she registered Queen Gway, and that's where she kind of started building off Queen Gway. And then one night we seen degeneratepussy.eth sell for 2 ETH, and I said, what the fuck? Excuse my language.
I was like, I have to see this is available.
I
begged him for a week to get it for me.
I remember we were in bed watching Stranger Things, the last episode when the sale went down, and I paused the show because I'm like, look what just sold for multiple ETH. And she was like, so then she pulls up her phone during the show and just starts looking for things to register, and she found this name, and she was like, will you register this for me? I was like, you're not gonna use that. I was like, I'm not registering this. I'm not putting that in my wallet. People are gonna look at me all crazy. And it was a few days. She's like, I'm telling you, it's a really good name. It's really good. And I'm like, So I just finally, I was like, whatever, I'll do it. And
It
I
took me a
registered
week
it.
of convincing, and I'm not even kidding.
I
But,
just
you
thought it
know,
was too
Well, now you
degen.
look at me, and you don't even see me as Pingway. You see me as drowning. So it's
Yeah.
just like that's just who I am at this point. So
Yeah, she built it up, and like,
You are drowning, like 100%. It took me a while because, I mean, Twitter is interesting because it's especially if you do like Twitter and then Discord, and we have our meetings on Discord, and so like it took me a while to be like, wait a minute, because it's just like, the names like aren't always matching, and it took me a while. Like I was like, oh, she's drowning, and then I was like, who's Queen Gway? Like it just took me like a moment.
who
to be like,
is this bitch, and why does she have
that's
her?
right.
Why does she have her PFP?
yeah, it's
Like, what is going on?
so that was the evolution of drowning, and she
love it.
she got this one on her own. It wasn't like, hey, do this because it's funny. I was actually against it because I'm all for it, but I was also like, there's real opportunities. We might be able to score a job.
It's not professional.
It's not that professional. Like I was like, I'm going to engage with professional people. I want to retweet you and show you love, but I also don't want a timeline full of drowning and pussy. Like, so I had to pick and choose. But at the end of the day, I'm like, look, if this is what you want to do, it's what you want to do. You can have fun with it, and if somebody wants to like shut off an opportunity because of that, then that's just the way that that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But she's built it on her own, and everyone just drowning. I'm like, she did it. She fucking did it. So that was just a fun little breakdown from the evolution of the crypto mom into who she is now. And but yeah. So more to come on the next show. We'll have more talks.
Well, drowning, I see you as like, I mean, I don't know if you see yourself the same way. I mean, whatever. But like, I see you not as, like stay-at-home mom or unemployed. I mean, you're all like whatever you. Yeah, I mean, you're obviously a mom and all, but you're a Web3 consultant. You're a Web3 advisor. You're an ENS consultant.
I don't know what that means, but I'm blushing. I'm like, yes, I made it.
Yeah, I mean, you know some things about ENS, right?
I hope so. Or I'm doing a
Yeah,
very
right?
bad job of being in this space.
Yeah, and I mean, you know some things about Web3, and you probably know more than you realize because
100%.
all of us have imposter syndrome, and not to generalize too much, but I mean, it seems like more often than not, like females hold themselves back because like guys are just like, oh yeah, I'll jump off the bridge, yeah, I'll do this, yeah, I'll do that. Like I've never done this before, but sure, I'll do it. And like, it's like there's more like planning and organization in the female mind, more aiming, and but I mean, I hear you talk, and I see you out there, and yeah, you're like a Web3 advisor to me and to a lot of people, and and maybe that's a little bit of window to have you peek through.
Well, thank you for those words. I really appreciate them. And I'm over here like, oh yeah, I remember one time I was in a space and I was talking about this, and I didn't even know I knew that. Like now my brain is just kind of going, but enough of my little soapbox. But yeah, I really do appreciate that. I'm not a builder. I always like think of names register, and then I'm like, I don't know how to build.
I knew that was coming.
Yep, get it.
Jump in. Such bullshit.
I knew it was coming. Drowning. I'll tell you what Gary told me. You hang on. I'll tell you what he told me. You are a builder, whether you know it or not. You're building either social engagement, you're building community, you're building relations.
How the hell are you not here? You're talking about showing up in Discords and having meetings and scheduling these things while you have a full-time job as a mom, while you have a full-time job doing.
She's the diamond hander of the family.
And it's like, you're showing up to meetings, you're
downplayed
scheduling
so
meetings,
much.
you're advising people with like technology, and then you're like, oh yeah, but I'm not a builder. And it's just like so infuriating because
I'm sorry. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean to come down on you too hard. I'm sorry.
She's the reason I bought Fergie. I was like kind of hesitant, and I knew that the guy would take a certain bid, and I was like, I don't know about it. She said you should get that. That's good. And like she comes through. Like sometimes I'll run it by her, and like she's definitely improved on just the understanding, like to where like it used to just be like, I don't know what's good, I don't know what's not, and she'll be like, don't do that, that's not, and she's like, that's
Well, I have
really
to
good.
remind him. I'm like, like there's only one buyer for something, and if they don't want to buy it, that's just stuck in your wallet and you waste your money. So,
Well, Fergie, there's a lot of buyers, right?
and we had one, so that was good.
You got speculators, and then I didn't think about the whole Ferguson play and the
Ferguson
UK,
play. Yeah, the Ferguson.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a lot of dudes named Ferguson.
and they go by Fergie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's we just keep going deeper. But no, definitely she doesn't give herself enough credit, and it's just funny to see because like I have people tell me I do the same, and then we're just in this house kind of like, we're nobodies, and other people are like, you guys are somebodies, and then like we kind of get to gas ourselves up, and it's a little bit of confidence, but no, she's she just started doing her own spaces, so I'll show that for her. She's doing just random spaces on Saturdays, calling them Saturday. And she
I'll
had
call
like,
your shit out. I'll call your shit out if your ego gets too big on the other end of things. So.
yeah, and that's just it. You need friends like that. So she's like over here. She showed me something the other day. She had a little agenda for 2023, things that she wanted to do out here. And I'm like, wait, what? She's like, I'm gonna start doing this at the start of the year. And like, I'm not telling her to do these things. She's just doing it. So it's like, no, she don't give herself enough credit, but she's awesome.
You better keep your game up.
Oh, I got to, man. I got to. I 100%.
Awesome. Anything else, Drowning?
I do not think so. I feel bad that we keep talking and you keep trying to close your space out. So
No.
Welcome to the show.
No, yeah, right. Welcome to the show. Kind of par for the course.
Guys, one more thing.
That's my favorite line.
Yeah.
I know. Like
But-
one more thing, not Eve.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to say, your guys' Christmas tree looks so pretty. And your kitty is cute too.
Yeah, I've seen the cat. Love the cat. Can I ask, like, can you dox the cat's name?
Oh yeah.
You don't have to.
So Gary, I posted it in our chat, just so you know, because Gary, I see
Just
Gary
to
has
me,
like
don't
a
be
very
confused.
confused.
Seriously, who knows what my tree looks like?
Behind you. How did I know?
Which
Yeah,
cat? I have
we
like
have
6 chats open. I don't
The
know which one.
queens.
Oh, I'm not, that's the one I'm not in.
Yeah, it was the Queen's chat and the cat that was under the tree. That like the minute we put up the tree, she's just like mine. Her name is Onyx.
Ah, badass
I love
name.
that.
She's a black
That's
kitty.
So pretty.
She's beautiful.
I
We
love
have
black
2 of them.
kitties.
We have Onyx and we have Max. I call him Mad Max, but he's like, what's his full name? Maximus.
I mean, his
Maximilian.
his name is his Maximum. Everyone calls him Maximus, but his
I love
name
that.
his name is actually Maximum Chill.
Maximum chill.
I love that.
But Maximum Chill Palmer, or something. But
I call him Mad Max.
His name is Maximum Chill because he's seriously like such a extreme. He's like the chillest. I've had a lot of cats in my days. The chillest cat probably I've ever had. And yeah, his name is Maximum Chill. But yeah, some people call him Mad Max or Maximum.
That's hilarious, man. That's an awesome name. I love cats. I've always had cats. We got 2 ourselves. They're just, they're my sons. Before we had my daughter, like those are my boys.
Yeah.
And they're the best, man. I love cats. So I was happy to see that.
Casper, he's really chill, but Rocket, I don't know if you guys ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy, the Rocket the raccoon.
Oh, don't call him a raccoon.
He
That's mean.
Well, he is just like Rocket. Like, he is just a little spitfire. I think if he could, say human words, he'd be cussing me out. But he's just a cutie. But yeah, had to dox my kitties too.
They don't ever ask you what's your childhood cat's name in any of the questions. So we can't talk about our dogs' names.
It's just the dog. Yeah, the cats. We can talk about the cats. No, I'll say one more thing. One more thing,
guys.
But my parents do. My parents do have a family dog, and it's not like my first dog or nothing like that, but it's like the family dog. And
what was the name of the street that you grew up with the dog with?
Well, get this right. They found the dog. It's like a stray. She like followed like one of my little siblings home like 7 years ago when they were playing, and like she was skinny as hell. We fed her. She became a family dog. We kind of just took her in. So it's a girl dog, right? My parents, that
That's
they're
what my
very
name is.
they're very like simple with the namings, and they're like, well, she answers to this. So for the past 8 years, I've had a dog named Girl. Like her name is Girl. That's it. So that's the family dog.
All right.
Simple as that, Girl, and you know.
Yeah.
So
Hey, girl.
if it was a boy, it'd be, hey boy. We
Wow.
don't get too personal out here.
No comment.
But yeah, man, I think we're good to wrap it up.
One more thing.
One more thing.
Ada, anything you want to say? And where can people find you?
Yes, I am Ada.East. You can find me on Twitter and other places under Unfolded Life. And it was great being here. It was great having you guys. And I hope you have a phenomenal week.
I
You
hope
as
you have a
well.
better one.
I hope everything's equally fan-fucking-tastic.
Let's go.
Go.
Cool. Well, I mean, we could end the broadcast, I suppose. Or we could talk about one more thing. Yeah, no, there's a lot of fun. You know, I just keep these going all day. There's some people that have 10-hour live streams. I don't know if you ever see any of those. They're
Scuff
pretty-
Spaces is technically a 12-hour live stream, but Space.
Yeah, but they won't show
Yeah.
their faces for personal reasons.
Yeah, because they're asses. But no, I mean on YouTube, you know, there's like 10-hour live streams on YouTube and just people just talking all day. Yeah, I could just talk all day, you know, about this stuff. It's just there's so much to talk about, and it's like really cool connecting. But you know, thanks for connecting. You know, this week. I hope next week we could get you guys on and maybe figure out how to like make a regular occurrence of what's going on in the world. Gway, you're doing a lot of things. Drowning, you're doing a lot of things. You know, we're doing a lot of things, and you know, just how do we you know, continue doing that and then build upon it, talk about it, use this as a platform to get the word out, or just connect with each other and use this as like a open public, you know, connecting session that like other people can voyeur in or participate if they wanted to chat. And yeah, so I just want to say thanks for coming and thanks for sharing. And yeah, I'm really excited to be building, and I'm really excited every time I see you guys in any spaces, you know, just really excited to know that you guys are there and to see you there and to be building alongside with you. So, you know, because minting coins isn't just about getting information, it's about taking action. So you could be minting, you know, your own money and your own identity and your own, you know, your own access, right? Every transaction that you receive, you're receiving and minting, you know. So I'm Gary Palmer Jr.eth. You can find me Gary Palmer Jr. on Twitter. And until next time, we are minting coins.